Hi, this is Brandon Smiley from thirstgym.com. Today we're going to talk about an exercise called the single leg RDL. We've also talked about an exercise called the kickstand RDL, which is a regression from this exercise. So this is actually a progression that you would use for your single leg hinge pattern. Ideally, I would also like to get athletes to do landmine RDLs as well, in either conjunction with this or build them up into the single leg RDL with this in mind. So with our kickstand RDL, we were basically one leg forward, one leg planted, and then we were bringing down and hinging. So what we're going to do this time is we're actually just going to remove that kickstand that we had, and we're actually going to balance on one leg. So I'm going to choose to load this with the opposite arm and leg. So I'm going to stand on my left leg, and then I'm going to have my load in my right arm. My right leg is going to come back as I hinge through my left hip. So start with my feet together, unlock my knees, I'm going to keep my chest good and tall, and I'm going to drop this dumbbell in between, or where my right foot is, and I'm going to move my right foot out of the way. My chest stays good and tall, back stays flat and neutral. I'm going to reach back with that right leg. So as I go, I unlock that knee, reach back here, and then bring my hip forward. So notice that I'm loading my left hip up. I'm only moving down as my right leg scoots back to basically offset that balance. Think of the little tipping bird that you've probably seen with like grandparents or your parents having. You can also, some people choose to load this same leg, same arm. So here, which is what we would call ipsilaterally. This generally feels more natural. The only reason I don't like this is that if you look at me from the front, a lot of people, when they tend to hinge, they'll open up this hip here to get that range of motion, rather than keeping their hips good and square and just pushing that back and then reaching. So I like it loaded contralaterally here so I can keep my hips good and square. You'll generally see that when athletes go to do this, they're actually going to try to open that hip up artificially when they do it. Try to just essentially make sure that their hips stay good and forward. Tell them a lot of times, you got flashlights here at your hips. They need to point straight forward. At no point should they deviate from where they're going to point. So we don't want that flashlight opening up, so to speak. You can also load this bilaterally, which would basically just be having a dumbbell in each hand, and then we can load that up more if we needed to. We try to challenge our athletes to only to where they have to just barely tap the ground between reps or not at all, but we know that when some athletes are beginning to learn this exercise, they need that stability component between each individual rep to focus on building up good movement quality initially, and then we can start loading it up over the course of a training block. This is an exercise that you would program for probably 3 to 4 sets of anywhere from 6 to 10 reps per leg. Every now and then you might get into your 12s, just depending upon where you're at in your training program. Just remember from a program consideration with athletes that this is a very eccentric heavy exercise for the hamstrings, which is great for sports performance, but also remember from an in-season or preseason perspective how much your athlete might be running or sprinting, and that this is placed in proper places, try saying that 5 times fast, in your training program so that you don't have a potential hamstring tear or injury during season or right before season starts. In the off season, you probably have a little more leeway because kids probably aren't running and sprinting quite nearly as much or to the volumes that they are at in season and during season, preseason. So if you have any questions, just leave them in the comment section. You can also visit thirstgym.com. Thanks. Have a great day.